Hey, so that absence was a little longer than I had expected, but I wound up wanting to make myself something to eat. So there we go. What I have just started doing is going through and spending some time organizing my Transmatter terminal because this is, I mean, it's really convenient, but it's also kind of a mess. So what I'm doing is I'm going to get anything that can be sifted, blast furnaced, or extracted. Going through all the blocks that I've dumped, and basically determining like what I should be grabbing out and what I should be leaving there. All of these crafting mats need to stay, but we want to just spend a little bit of time determining like what I can blast furnace and stuff like that. I also should have a ton of ores as well. I don't know if I'll really have the combustible material to do that, but we'll look through. Okay, so what do we have a lot of? Basically, this is how I'm doing it. I'm saying, okay, I've got a lot of metal parts. I go here. I look up metal parts. What do metal parts extract into? Tungsten. So that's probably something worth keeping, right? So we'll take those. Take the metal parts. Those get extracted, so that goes on this line. And then we look up what else do I have a bunch of. Well, I'm pretty sure loose silt is siftable, so we'll put that there. And then what's next? Packed bones. I believe packed bones can be extracted. You can also blast furnace them for research, so I would rather extract the packed bones. So let's go bones. Those will go in my extract line. This also has the convenient side effect of reducing the amount of storage that that these stacks take up in my storage drive. So actually, when I started doing this, my storage drive had about 53,000, and having taken all of this stuff out, we are down to 38,000, and the other drive has nothing. So I've gushed about it before, but it is really, really potent storage. I have 1,400 Durasteel. That is a lot. Anything with precursor metals? Okay, so you can just extract precursor alloy out of it, but what do you do with precursor alloy? Oh, this is all the stuff that you can put in and get precursor alloy out of it. But precursor alloy, all you do is you get research out of it. You can also use it as a building material, like I did here. This is the precursor sloped panel, and I thought that metal looked pretty cool. Maybe a precursor alloy would be better in that situation, but whatever, we can keep that. What about gritstone? Let's look up gritstone and sulfuric stone. So gritstone extracts to research. So when it's something that only extracts to research, I actually take it and just dump it, because if it's only going to give me research, I don't care. Sulfuric stone. I think you get, yeah, you get sulfur out of it. So that will extract, so we can hold on to that. Golden sand we're not going to do anything with. Gravel can be sifted. Yep. And then everything else is in pretty low quantities. So we do have a pretty good amount of coal now. So we can do something like this. What do we want to do here? trying to figure out how to get these. Yeah, I guess that's not bad. Some of these will have a little bit more than others, but we've got about a little over 60 in each. So now what we want to do is make sure that our blast furnace is loaded up. Oh, it's already got alien rock ready to go and magma rock. Okay, well I'll dump the rest of my magma rock in there, and then we'll hope I have enough fuel to get rid of that alien rock. These extractors don't need to be powered, so we can start those going. I have exactly 9 items. Convenient. So we'll go like that. Like I showcased in a previous video, I've got all of this stuff hooked up to an item network. So, you know, you'll see all of my extractors are dumping all of their items right into here. Makes that really, really convenient for me. And then I believe all of my sifters are set up and ready to go. So now, all I need to do is go through and dump in my coal. So this is probably not the most efficient way of having this set up, but I've found that it works really well. The only other thing I could think of is having another item network that is dumping the burnable material directly into the furnaces. So here we've got 46 power out of these 5, which means we should be getting up to about 46 on this side as well when everything gets powered up. Interesting. Significantly less. I wonder why that is. It's hard to tell if everything is actually hooked up appropriately. We want... It appears that they are, but whatever. We can chalk that up to anything, really. So I've got my blast furnaces both going full tilt. There must be one that's not hooked up. That's the only explanation. Because the blast furnace requires 22 watts of power. There would not be 2 going full tilt with 38 power. Leads me to believe that something is just not hooked up to looks like... I mean, it looks like all of the furnaces are hooked up appropriately. Yep, and you can see that all of this stuff is getting pulled by the item network, and shows it better here. You can see the flashing. But if we look, we're getting a lot of things pulled and dumped. Oh, and a bunch more coal. That's pretty convenient. So we'll look at how these are doing. Those are going to take a long time because we've got a lot of stuff there. And how are we doing on coal? Okay, they burned about 20 so far. And that goes quick. We are not going to be let's pull something out of here. We're not going to be able to do this for very long because I just don't have enough burnable material. I suppose another thing I could be doing is wiring all of my stuff up to a battery. Right, I could do that. So all I would have to do is add another output on the power conduit or whatever. So that this would just go to like a battery down here. This would go to a battery down here. I'll want to do that eventually. I just don't think I have access to very good batteries at the moment. I'd really like to do advanced batteries, at least because it does double my power stored. Industrial only stores 4,000 and advanced stores 8,000, so that seems like a pretty significant difference. Worth waiting for at least. So I don't know. Let's see what we've got. We've generated 150 coal so far. Well, this means we could dump another 20 into most of these. And so once we get 40 more coal, so we can dump this into one, and then we'll be able to get another little bit. So this isn't quite self-propagating. I would need a lot more of whatever is extracting, whatever's getting coal out of it. Like, yeah, the rough dirt is generating coal. It looks like the ash is generating coal. I don't know if the sulfuric dirt is generating any coal or not. But I would need probably all of them, all of the sifters at least, to be doing nothing but sifting something that's going to be generating coal. Okay, we'll call that good, because the top one actually has more than the rest. So we should be sitting at, yeah, about 30 or 40 in all of these now. I've generated 2,200 silicon. In the meantime, let's double check on my farm and see how this is doing. So this is automating all of the pickups from my farm animals and my plants. Not that there's a lot, but it is all automated. We'll get all the milk and eggs out because they tend to take up so much space so quickly. And then what I do with that is I just dump them in here because I don't have anything else to do with it right now. I should probably find some recipe that uses milk and eggs, and then I'll be able to get rid of some of that stuff a little bit more effectively than just like shipping it for, you know, hundreds of pixels at a time. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check while I'm here, I did catch like a couple of bees, orchid and leaf cutter. I have leaf cutter, I have orchid. Okay, so then we don't need any of those. My leaf cutter is leaf cutter subtype. Let's identify this orchid. But those can go for sure. My orchid is also orchid. Okay, so we don't need any of those, which is actually kind of convenient. Now that I've freed up a bunch of storage space, I used to be working with like a 32 slot storage. Now that I've freed up a bunch of storage space, I think I'm also going to be holding on to subtypes because there are some subtypes that actually generate different materials, like stellar. There's cosmonaut and I think it's just stellar and cosmonaut are the two subtypes, and they generate different different materials. There are a bunch of bees in here as well because the bug catching turrets, which are here, 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 and here, wind up making the plant or the bees like fall And then so they get picked up that way. So are any of my animals unhappy? I'm trying to... I see a lot of hearts, which is good. Oh, something's unhappy. I wonder if it's the crystal, the Erchibuds. Could be. I'm gonna see what I have for like algae. I think they eat algae. Okay, so let's cut it in half. And then we also want to look at spare parts. And we'll take half of those as well. So I'm not sure what's going to eat these, but I think something will. So, yep. The Erchibuds, I think, needed the algae. So we'll go like that. We still got a lot of the animal feed. I will have to remember that the Erchibud, you know, I've got some robotic stuff in here, so they eat other things. How we doing on coal? Okay, we're running low. We're running low for sure. All right. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it seems to work okay. I wish it was a little bit closer to self-propagating and that I generated as much coal as I required, but that seems to be a bit of a pipe dream. Man, 3,500 silicon. I am really surprised. I wonder what we can do with silicon. Is there anything interesting here? No, you can't process it in any way. It's just a crafting material then. Man, nothing has run out of the stack. Yeesh. These are done. That's done. Boy, yeah, all of my extraction labs are done. I guess that makes sense because those do 50 at a time, whereas the sifters, the blast furnaces, do 1 at a time. All right, now that the alien rock is done, we'll move there. And is this guy finished? No, we've still got a lot of magma rock. This is making more silicon too. Whatever, it's fine. I mean, that means that this is never going to be a bottleneck for me ever again, so kind of convenient. I like having everything dumped into the one container because it shows me in a much more visual way exactly the resources that I'm generating. And of course, this also shows me, like, I don't need to worry about silicon. I don't need to be extracting things that give silicon anymore. Like, that's a waste of my my energy generation. Now over here we're at 49, and this one's at 46. So yeah, these must all be hooked up correctly. There's just I think there's a little differential in terms of every couple of ticks. One of these can actually change the amount of power they're generating. Yeah, see, now we're down to 43. 41. Oh, one of these. Yep, one of these is turning off. So let's throw 20 back in that one. 20 back in that one. 20 back in money back in that one. Okay. Well, that'll keep them going for a little bit longer. Yeah, and this one is just kind of turning off and on, and it's not getting nearly enough power to generate, to get both of them powered on at all. The other thing that we can use is energy wood. And energy wood, I believe, burns longer. You can also use Erchius. But I do not have... Yeah, this is the only actual, like, crystal Erchius that I have, which, that's not a lot. I'll need to hit up a moon, and that should give me a pretty massive amount of Arceus to keep my stuff running. So let's do that now. I don't know if there's going to be a moon in the system that I'm in, but we'll find out. I actually think, now that I think about it, I think there's a toxic moon. Yeah, I was going to say, I think there's a toxic moon, like, right where I am. So this is an unknown planet. It does have Quietus, which would probably be worth checking out then. There's also this toxic moon. And I believe a toxic moon will want our poison EPP, not our radioactive. So we will extract that. And we'll dump that into our poison, like so. The thing about the toxic moon is we won't have to worry about the Erchius ghosts. So it's a very similar moon, but this actually has a like a climate threat instead of the fauna threat. So instead of the Erchius ghosts, it has like actual enemies and such. So this will be, yeah, see there's like actual enemies here. Oh, I thought that was a bee, but there's just a hole there. Darn it. Got stuck in poop. So luckily, moons get torn up really easily with the mining laser. So that makes this makes this go really quickly. Additionally, moon rock and moon dust all can be extracted to get crystal Erchius fuel, or rather sifted to get crystal Erchius. So even if I'm not specifically hunting for Erchius, I can still get a pretty massive amount just through extracting. And now we've hit like a robo area. Man, these are those, yeah, these are the really high level, really, yeah, these little black things. These are the really high level enemies that I was farming, I don't know, about a week ago, maybe a little bit longer. But they drop like Precursor attack. So they're pretty good to farm. What is this over here? Wow, I did not know those things could actually jump. Alright, got the large radar dish. What's in here? Tier 1.5, so this is considered a very low-level planet. Interestingly, because it has precursor level enemies. Glowing mushrooms, I actually think you can do something with. Kind of frustrating that now that we're like underground. Oh, here's crystal. I wonder if we will find actual Erchius crystal. Or Erchius blocks, rather. They are really distinctive. They're like just big purple squares. And if we come across those, we'll be digging all those out too. Okay, more moon rock. Okay, so this is the bottom of the moon. We cannot dig down any further. Healing water, yep. Well, it's actually kind of disappointing that there's no actual Erchius or crystal Erchius blocks. It's fine though. We can just make our way back up really, really quickly. I've said it before, but the Precursor Hookshot is ridiculously powerful. It is like the best mobility tool I have encountered. Shock Shroom. It just makes everything so easy. Okay, I don't like this thing. You can screw off. It just makes everything so easy to move around in. Just getting to basically hookshot to everything, and it's very, very fast compared to all the other hookshots. I think it's the fastest one you can get. I'm not 100% positive on that, but it's certainly the fastest one I've found. Maybe there's like one of the upgradable ones can get faster, but you'd have to pour a lot of resources into it to make that the case. Okay, so what is kind of annoying is on this moon, because it's not a regular moon, right? There are different biomes under the surface. I'm not able to find large pockets of crystal Erchius, so we're stuck with these, you know, really small ones, where it's 10 or 15 Erchius at a crack. Not a huge deal because I will be able to sift out a bunch from a lot of these other materials I'm getting, you know, moon rock, moonstone, moon dust. But it is a little bit of an annoyance. I don't even know how many of each block I have. Hey, an obelisk. So obelisks are really cool in that if you just do this, it activates it, and they drop a bunch of high-level items. So when we pick it up, some pixels, a laser diode, precursor data storage, a bunch of advanced plastics, some ancient essence, and some more stuff. We'll take the liquid Arceus. there's so much poop at the surface. I guess that's why it's a toxic moon. It's covered in poop. I believe here we've found the alien ruins, but it is probably not worth going through because this is considered a tier 1.5 planet. Right? Yep. The blocks are protected, so this is an alien ruin. And just to verify, I will go through here. And it's going to be really easy to see that it's not worth it. Because this will have, yep, a tier 2 shield, 80 pixels, and some throwing darts, right? Nothing particularly useful. And all very low level. And I can do the same thing here. Just verify that. I suppose there is some treasure hoard blocks. Yeah, 15 pixels. That is not worth. These enemies should be easy because they're tier 1.5. Normally I die in this room if it's or any reasonable tier planet. These things do a lot of damage, and they attack very quickly, and they are just pretty hard to deal with as a melee build. But, you know, planet tier matters, so it's pretty easy. Alright, next on this. Bunch of stuff. Nothing good though. Mostly hoping for, you know, like some crafting style materials. Oh, I did not actually do the rooms off to the sides here. $15 pixels. Oh, manipulator module, that's fine. I love that charge. Do that. Really, what I'm looking to do here is just get to the top, because there is something that I can do that will be worth a little bit. 100 pixels, 50 ancient essence. I never really liked those anyway. They never seem to be very worth it. Wait, what? There's a chest in here? Okay. Another room that goes right up like this. Okay, so now what I'll be able to do is, what is this? Man, I was like, that looks like it could be good, but it is just a wearable. But what I can do now is I can destroy the shield generator, and that is helpful because there are some, hey, there's a challenge dungeon here too. I suppose we'll do that then, because those are always really, really quick. If this takes me more than about 30 seconds, I'll be surprised. Oh, and actually, using this is going to be faster. Wow. That's really lame. Don't really need to worry about taking fire damage on a tier 1 planet. Then we activate that. We do have to go all the way back up. It kind of stinks, but that's pretty quick. And now we can go here. I suppose I could have accessed that from the beginning, actually. Because I have the hookshot. Oh no, the door was closed. You can't actually get in there. You do have to activate the switch. Okay, but what I'm talking about... chest here. Oh, that was a pretty good one. This room spawns robots, right? Yep. Stick of RAM, storage matter, yeah, whatever. Yeah, let's just dig right through. It's these treasure hoard blocks. I believe can be extracted for gold bars. And since there was one on either side, I'm not entirely sure how much gold that will actually allow me to generate, but what the heck. Not a significant waste of my time. And I think it will be worth it. Gold is a limiting factor in space station construction. You often need like 50 or 100 gold bars to make different rooms on your space station. So I always want, oh no. I ran out of energy right when I got covered in sewage. That's great. Oh, this is a lot of Erchius. Alright, cool. I'm going to call it good on this planet. I believe that will be everything that I need. No. No! Dude, just let me... There, beam up. That's all that I wanted. That's all that I ever wanted. Okay, we're back to the space station. And we will see how much crystal Erchius I generated. 600. So what we're going to do is we're going to split this into 8 stacks to start. And we'll just go like this. We'll just start with 4 on each side. And I'll figure something else out. And I believe Erchius, like, burns, I don't know, hotter than coal. So we'll see how we're doing there. What do I have for blocks? Let's look at what I've got. Crystal blocks, I think you can just extract. Yeah, I'm going to extract them. I do not need more silicon. determined that. We can dump some of these small numbers. Mud and clay, I think I had just dumped as well. What do we do with glowing mushroom? Glowing mushroom. As input, you get fungal ichor. That's pretty good. And then now that has worn out. Let's do that. Purple crystal. Purple crystal block. It can be sifted, interestingly. So purple crystal block is going to go up here. Raw sewage, you just extract poop from. I am definitely good for poop. Moon dust gets sifted. Moon rock gets sifted. Moon stone gets sifted. Okay. So moon stone, moon dust, moon stone, moon rock. And what do we do with junk stuff? Junk pile, silicon and iron ore. I don't care about that then. Junk tech, iron ore and silicon extracts to tungsten. I don't really care about that either. Rusty metal I don't think does anything. Let's look at fungal stone. Fungal stone extracts to research. That doesn't matter. And then treasure hoard. I'm pretty sure this extracts to gold bars. You can also blast furnace it. That's way better. So let's just plop that in right away. No? That is interesting. Treasure hoard is supposed to blast furnace, but it apparently does not want to. And dire stone will also blast furnace. Erchius healing water we will place in there. I also don't think 6 volcanic ash is worth sifting right now. How we doing? And how's our Arceus? We've used about 15 so far. That's fine. Coal, nope. Wood. I'm gonna take a little bit of energy wood out, not a lot though, because I do want this one going. This will keep this one from stuttering, which I think is what we want. And then maybe I'm gonna have to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. I'm surprised that 38 power is enough to keep both of those going constantly. Alright, well, while that's going, we'll check on the animal products, see what's going on up here. Still plenty of space. That's good. Shock shroom. That is a new seed. I suppose we should turn the watcher on. And let's see how our stores are doing. Still got plenty of algae. Alright, I'm not worried about any of this then. I like how the entire dirt ground has been converted into tar. I think that's from the Urchabud or the Orbises. Their waste is actually oil, and the oil touches the dirt and turns it into tar. Doing just fine there. This has got to be almost done. Yep. So when that is finished, we'll throw in the Dire Stone. I wonder if for some reason the blast furnace needs like way more than 147 treasure hoard blocks. But like anything, it should be fine going like 2 at a time. Yeah, and it just does not want to generate anything. Alright, Dire Stone it is. Go ahead. Then that means we'll just extract. So I think 20 is going to turn into, what, a couple of gold bars? 1 gold bar. Okay, that kind of sucks. I don't get it. I don't get why that's not functioning. Oh, I'm gonna starve to death. Is there anything else I can like be doing instead of just sitting around? Let's look at some kind of tech stuff. I always feel like, yeah, some of this stuff I can make, I just don't have the materials on me. AI chip nuclear core. I don't think I can do a nuclear core yet. Actually, I take that back. I probably can. Yeah, I have all of that stuff. So I can make nuclear cores, which means I can do the advanced Xeno lab, which is really just going to be convenient because it's an upgrade, right? And it's going to extract the genetics from seeds faster, which is something I have not done in a long time. What else are we lacking? I don't really know about the gravity normalizer. I don't know if I care. I have not really done anything with mechs. Maybe that's something I need to do soon too, so that I can actually start engaging with some of those space encounters, because that's something I really have not done. Bounty board, I have found that this does not work, which is quite frustrating. I don't know what this does. I don't actually know what it means to repair the broken capture pod images. I'm assuming it just means like it revives the monster inside that's dead. I actually have an electron microscope. I just didn't build it. I stole it. Field extender. Extends a wire connection between a field generator and field marker. Generates fields to protect construction, provide air, or alter gravity within a defined area. Huh. Okay. So that's actually super convenient. That means that I could protect like all of my panels from being destroyed, but that's just because that's something I do all the time, is like I derp, and I'll be like, you know, I accidentally click and I've still got my mining laser and I destroy a bunch of my own stuff. Yeah, we have the mech assembly station and the mech component thing or bob right in there, so I don't suppose I really need to make that myself. Shield generator, tome dais. Yeah, build your own ship is something I have really not done, so maybe the and that was actually something that someone asked me about. They really wanted me to do a tutorial on build your own ship, which I'm certainly willing to do. I haven't done that really myself, so I'll have to spend some time doing that at some point. So here's what I'm gonna do, because I really gotta get Erchius extracted. So let's hope this gives me a whole ton. Ash. Alright, so we've got a ton of some of these materials. Yeah, we have a lot of ash. Actually, we'll go like this, because these will actually get us the things we want. And then we've got some other stuff. So we start looking at how much Erchius we're generating. This would probably be more viable because Erchius burns longer than wood. And honestly, I haven't really explored what you can use to power your furnaces, right? Because it just says, oh, well, that doesn't even help you at all. But if you go here, combustion generator, it doesn't really tell you. It just says it's fuel burning, whereas the alternator at least says it's wood, coal, or energy wood. So I guess I'm kind of assuming that the combustion generator will burn anything that is considered fuel. So if I can find it, just like as an example, something like energy flour gives for fuel. So I would assume, without testing, that a combustion generator is going to use that as fuel. Geez, I've almost got an entire stack of silicon. That's crazy. We're almost done with the meteorite. Maybe that means I should start doing something with a liquid. What does actual honey do? You can get amber chunk, contaminated water, and research. Really good. Epidermis, contaminated water research. Phase matter, contaminated water research. Cryonic extract, contaminated water research. Okay, so nothing particularly exciting there. Well, I've also generated almost 600 coal again, so I think the sifters are essentially powering everything here. Right, so long as I'm able to get the combustion engines filled up with what they need. Combustion generators, excuse me. Alright, so that was an hour. That was not a particularly exciting hour. It was basically me sitting around waiting, doing some work in my Transmatter terminal, and then farming one moon for some Erchius. But it's what it is. I am probably not going to stream again tonight, but I will definitely be streaming tomorrow for an hour or two. I'm really crossing my fingers that more people on Reddit give me some suggestions for what tutorials they want to see. That's something that I want to get into more, generating content that people are actually looking for, as opposed to just generating content that's content. So if you do happen to see this, if you've got any suggestions for tutorials or guides or explanations or mechanic walkthroughs or whatever for Frackin Universe, any suggestions, go ahead, comment below. I would be more than happy to either explain it to you or just straight up make a video if it's something that's a little bit meatier. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.